Too many screens open. Dismiss. We are now live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday.
Good morning, Skillz World. How are you?
I know I'm doing fine.
Right?
Mondays. Well, I don't know. A little tired from yesterday. We had one of our neighbors had a little Super Bowl party. So I don't think any of us actually watched the Super Bowl, but
Really?
we definitely had the party part.
We all watched the halftime.
Yeah, we all watched the halftime show. How we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, like the only team that should have won wasn't there. So, you know,
I don't know. Which team are you talking about, Mike?
New York, Buffalo, the only New York team. And there goes half of our viewers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a good weekend though. I'm happy. Good morning, Adrian. So, John, you came up with a good topic for this show, and it's one I know we talk about a lot. So I think it's good that we get the whole community involved. I'm sure maybe some people come up with some good ideas to add to the mix. So we're going to be talking about parents today, how to deal with them, how to work with them, how to train them, how to get them engaged and enthusiastic about what's going on, how to get them interacting with your school, all about parents.
It's all about parents, yeah.
Real quick, just so I could get rid of it, down there, my fingers aren't even, there we go. Down there, MegaCon is coming. There's our shameless plug, so make sure you guys are getting your tickets. You get all the information at megaconescape.com. Bring yourselves, your partners, your families. It's a vacation, a working vacation, and your teams, including your storm teams. Make sure you're getting everybody there.
Right. It is going to be the event that you want to be at, especially if you're in the Skillz world. If Heck you're, hey, if you want to learn how to deal with parents, this is the event where you want to be.
Yeah.
Everything in the Skillz community kind of revolves around that.
It revolves around. Now, I mean, this goes right into it, just to kind of segue, usually when we go to a business conference, there's a bunch of them in the industry. There's some out of the industry that we all go to. Usually it's like, hey guys, we're closing the school, or, Sensei Joey is going to teach, or whoever. And it's like a shift in what's happening. And we're going away for a couple days. We come back. MegaCon is kind of unique because they give you the opportunity to bring the parents in your school on board to the point where they're coming to the business seminar with you, and kind of attending their part of it. I mean, the parents will probably be attending the beach and the, rum runners down by the pool and everything, but the kids get something out of it. So takes a certain amount of buy-in from the parents. And I don't mean like money buy-in, but I mean, it takes a certain amount of alignment of their vision for their kid and what you do for them to uproot their lives and as a family come to an event that's a business event. I know I have a lot of fun at it, but essentially it is a business and training event for the kids. And
absolutely,
it happens. We're bringing just about our whole team, like half our storm team and our whole employee team this year.
I mean, it does make a difference, because that way, if not all the parents are able to go, those parents will go back, and now we understand why you travel. Now we understand why you do what you do. Now we understand why you tell us those hacks and you want us to follow those hacks, because they get to see it. Kind of like, school owners when they complain about their team, right? And you tell your team what to do, but the team doesn't want to listen to you. But if Melody tells them what to do, they're going to do it. And you're like, oh, dude, I told you the same thing, right? It's going to be the same thing with the parents. The parents of the storm team members, when they go with them and they travel with them and they see what is provided by the Skillz worldwide, they will go back and let the other parents know.
Yeah, and that's key. I mean, parents talk, and we want them to. We want to make sure we give them good things to say. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we get our parents to that point where, they come in the beginning and then they have one or two ways. They can either, get the drop and run kind of parents, or we can get those really engaged parents that are willing to spend thousands of dollars and disrupt their week to take their child to a seminar. How do we go from point A to point B?
So the culture.
Yeah. And I would say it even starts before that.
It literally starts from the minute on the phone. Yeah.
Yep. You guys have heard us talk a lot about how we find the right people. And I would say it starts with your marketing, making sure you're finding the right parents. Now, it's not saying I'm going to turn a child away if their parent has other things to do during class time. But we want parents that are, have a certain parity with our belief system and what we do in our school.
Yep. I mean, so from the get-go, they're opting in or they're calling you on the phone. There's got to be a sense of captivation. You know what I mean? I want to captivate them in a way that they understand why I do what I do, when I do it, and at the same time, how we do it and the reason behind it.
Sure. And then I think once you educate them about that, they have to also consistently see that and occasionally be reminded. I mean, I think it's human nature to, once you kind of get something, you say, all right, I got that. And it goes over there. Every now and then you have to, just like we continue to drill our phone answering scripts or whatever it is, you still have to reinforce that with parents every now and then. Once you have the relationship, it's a little easier because you get to say, hey, Mrs. Johnson, did you see what Johnny did in class? This is why, this is how. And you have a connection built in through their child. But I think, especially with Skillz, we have that built in because, we know what we're teaching a year and a half in advance. We have pretty small classes comparatively. We don't have 100 kids on the floor at a time. We know every single child. So it becomes very easy for us to do that. If you're kind of winging it every day, maybe you're really good at it.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's think about this for a second. We all, is there a past tense to wing?
Yeah, that's a good one. Usually it's me. Winged, wong. I have one.
Okay. If you're planning your classes, right, and you know what you're going to do, we all did that. Right? We all planned our classes. We all know what we're going to do. The question is, can you relay the message to the parents of why you're doing what you're doing? And if it's just based on the kids coming to class, punching, kicking, blocking, okay, it's a robotic behavior, right? The kids will come, punch, kick, and block, and go home. Okay, but what was valuable about that class? What was valuable about every single day of the class? You know what I mean? Everybody goes, yeah, the parents walk in the studio and their head is in their phone. Well, their head is in their phone for a reason. They could be working. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They could be working. They could be shopping, planning their dinner, their Uber Eats, whatever. I don't care.
Play the empathy card. Maybe that is the only 45 minutes that parent gets to themselves all day.
That was my last point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that, we have to be, like you said, empathetic, but at the same time, what are you doing as a school owner to captivate the parents when they're sitting in your lobby? Okay. So first, I know some people who are watching are either Skillz members or non-Skillz members. Some of them may be pre-Skillz members. There is a huge difference here. As a Skillz school, I hate to say it this way, but we're spoiled. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to say it. Or instead of using the word spoiled, we have become highly educated martial art instructors that understand what to expect and what not to expect out of the children, but also what to expect and what not to expect out of the parents. And because we're highly educated in every step of the way, every single class that we're teaching, because we understand the planners that's provided for us, and within the planners, the mat chat that's provided within that mat chat. And because of the parenting skills that we have that is provided by Skillz, I am able to truly captivate my parents and captivate that audience from the very first second of them laying an eye on one of my posts on Facebook or a video that we did on Facebook. Like, I have to educate my community at first before they even try to call me on the phone.
Yeah, and leveraging like parent skills is not necessarily something that's designed to get the parents more engaged in what happens with their kids in class. Like it's not a direct
No.
parent skills, this happens. However, parent skills is a great thing. So if you're a skilled member, you already have parent skills. And if not, we can get you upgraded so you get it. But parent skills is a great set of courses that can be used in so many ways. So from the beginning, we know that when you use parent skills within your own school, it, like you said, it recultivates those attitudes, you know, especially when we start talking about things like building connection with your kids. They're there. That's where they're going to practice that first. Getting them to take the lessons home is a little harder. You know, the farther you get from your front door, the harder it is. But also, like you said, we use that for our community, giving seminars in parent skills, having groups, posting parent skills-esque content. You know, once you kind of have a good grasp of parent skills, it's really easy to, you know, extrapolate on what's going on there. So that goes right back to that initial marketing where we're finding people who are really enthusiastic about learning how to be better for their kids. And then they come asking for more. And for our current parents, because there are already those types of people, you know, it just kind of fans the flame a little bit. And we become a source. Hey, you know, how do I get little Johnny to do this? Do you have any of those parent skills ninja tips for me? So automatically now, in a roundabout sort of way, they are more involved in what's going on at the school and in their kids' journey. So if you're not using parent skills and you have access to it, shame on you. And I say that with a smile. But like, go look through the content. It's really powerful stuff.
Yep. I mean, for us, you know, our biggest thing is once they call, they've probably done one or two pieces of homework that helps them understand who we are and why we do what we do.
Hopefully.
But if they don't, then I want to educate them. Kind of like the last call, you know, the last episode that we did about leads, right? You know, when they're calling you on the phone, are they suspects? Are they prospects? Are they leads? Are they members? Are they antelopes? You want your parents to come to that point of being your antelopes. Okay? Suspects, they called you on the phone. They don't know who you are or whatever. They just want their kids to learn karate. You know, prospect, somebody who knows who you are. Okay? And they've read your material and they've read your reviews and they've done it all. Those are the parents that you're going right then and there in the back of your head. You're going, okay, that's an educated parent. That's a parent that I want in my program. Okay. The lead concept comes in when they actually buy it. Now you know they trusted you.
You know, as you talk about this, you know, it really brings to the forefront that we have to work with parents with as much energy and vigor as we work with the students.
Yes.
Parents are not going to magically follow this path. Now, some do, and that's fantastic. We love them. But not everybody is going to follow that path automatically and become antelope on day 3 because that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, if you want stronger relationships with the parents, you have to cultivate those. You have to put just as much energy, if not more, because it's not the parents' training. We have to convince them that it's their training.
Yeah.
You know, so as you're doing it through that process to get them in the school, don't forget to do it after. So, you know, having things as simple as one day have somebody else teach your classes and go walk around your lobby and just say hi to everybody. You know, and now I know that's not my strong point in the school. So usually Heidi does that, but I'm just not a small talk kind of guy. But find somebody in your school that's going to go, not just like, oh, Mrs. Johnson, you're 2 days late with tuition. Mrs. Johnson, testing is next week. Make sure little Johnny is here. Mrs. Johnson, like, hey, what's going on? Stalk your members on Facebook ethically. Hey, I see you guys got a puppy. That's so cool. What did you name it? Like you have to build these relationships in order to make people want to invest in them. You got to give to get. We all know that in the martial arts. You got to put in if you want to get out. It's the same thing with your parents. You really have to make sure that when you see them, you're saying hi and talking to them, that when they post in your Facebook groups, you're responding, right? I had one mentor that says the way we all treat Facebook groups is like if somebody walks past you on the street and says, oh, hey, what's going on? Look at this picture of my kids. And you go, and keep walking. Because that's what we all do on Facebook. We click that like button and you go. Instead of saying, oh, that's fantastic. The kid looks like he's really cute. Or, whatever. We do this in person, but you got to continue that over to, like in this example, the Facebook group. If you want parents interacting there, you got to extend the conversation. Treat them like teenagers. Instead of saying like, how was your day? Good. You got to ask those open-ended questions, draw them out a little bit, make them kind of like you.
I think sometimes as school owners, we're afraid to ask the questions. We're afraid to ask a question that, it's going to open up a can of worms or something. Ask the questions.
I get that, especially me, because I don't like confrontation. Look, you got to do what you got to do, but I don't like confrontation. I grew up with a lot of turmoil in my home. I do my best to stay away from it in my adult life. However, I would rather ask the question than wait for somebody to get so fed up that they come tell me the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather say, hey, how's little Johnny doing? Oh, well, he's really struggling with being well-mannered with his sibling. Okay, I can handle that. Yeah. Versus we're pulling little Johnny out because no matter what you guys do here, he's still a terror at home. I'd rather catch it early. And you can't do that unless you're having those conversations. Get past fear. Got to get past fear.
I think the one element is, what are you providing your parents of value, just like you're providing their kids with value? You know what I mean? So again, I take my daughter to a dance studio, and you saw the distance that we drive to take her. It's not so much of, what my daughter is getting in the class. It is, what am I getting out of it as well as a parent? Okay. So that's the big key. You want your parents involved, provide them with value for themselves, just for the parents only. You know what I mean? So it's not just, hey, Johnny, let me take you to your martial arts class. Okay. They have to say, Johnny, it's time for us to go to martial arts. I am so looking forward to hear Sifu Mike talk today. So those are the ways we want to train our parents.
Yeah. And to be fair, I'm a parent. You're a parent. Mm-hmm. Would you like to be a parent too? Man, am I dating myself there? By the way, I saw on Facebook, total tangent here. I just saw that for the first time in like 35 years, Mean Joe Green and the kid from the Super Bowl commercial where he tosses him the jersey, they just got back together and did something. So,
wow.
Speaking of Dr. Pepper commercials. Anyway, yeah, I knew I was going to lose my train of thought there. Dag nabbit.
We were talking about adding value to the parents, and just like yeah.
Yeah. So, we're all parents, and we know that, there's no instructions manual that comes with it. It's a little cliche, but it's very true. So you have to be tactful about this because nobody wants to be told how to be a parent. Yeah. However, we all want to be told how to be a parent. So we want to make sure that we are, kind of educating tactfully the parents in our school. And just like John said, is you know, if a parent comes in and says, wow, I really want to see what you do in class, that is so powerful to a child, even to your teenager that's like, oh, come on, mom, can't you just leave?
Yeah.
That's just their stage of development talking. They still want your interaction, and they will appreciate it someday when you're gone. We got to look long game here. Not that I wish it
And
anybody.
you brought up a point of parents leaving, dropping their kids off and leaving. Um, that happens for so many reasons.
Sure.
Teenagers don't want their parents to sit there anymore and watch them. They just don't. It's not, like, don't make me feel like I'm an 8-year-old. Right?
Yeah.
At the same time, there are other kids that do much better when their parents are not around. So, parents dropping their kids off and leave, there's got to be a reason behind it. Okay, maybe it's their opportunity to go and train and work out while their kids is working out. You know what I mean? So, again, there is nothing wrong with it. It's just, it depends on the personality and depends on the family.
It's also important, very often we try to solve, like, especially like if you look from a Western medicine perspective, we see a symptom and we try to solve the symptom. But if you really look at the root cause and try to treat from the root, as we say in Chinese medicine, you have to figure out, why isn't that parent staying? It could be that there's another sibling that does dance down the road.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you just need a break because otherwise they're going to take their kid that day. It's extreme, but you don't know what's going on in that parent's life. We can assume, I would say, that the parent does care about their child, because otherwise they wouldn't have found the best possible martial arts academy for their child, which would be the Skillz school, of course. So looking at the fact that for some reason that parent has to leave, how can we expand the experience beyond just what happens in your school so that there is no like front door on your school?
Sure.
Because people don't quit while they're in class too. People quit when they're at home.
Yeah.
So how do I get that parent? And we've all seen it where like one parent is so involved and so enthusiastic, but the other parent is the one in charge of the decision making and the bills. And all of a sudden that enthusiastic parent says, well, we got to pull little Johnny out because my spouse doesn't see the value and it's a lot of money. And, how do we get to that other parent? So we have all this technology. You got to be where your parents are. So, we leverage Facebook groups, making sure that pictures and videos of the kids in class are in the group. We do testing. We didn't do the last one, but normally we live stream testing into the group because sometimes parents have to work that day.
Mm-hmm.
Still want to see their kids. So, that's part of that nurturing, making sure that no matter where a parent is, they have access to their child.
Absolutely. And, again, it could be as simple as doing a video, put it up on your YouTube channel, put it in your, like you said, on Facebook group, do a little blog, and along with the blog, add that YouTube video. So there's more ways to get your parents like active and get your parents cultivated and, I don't know, captivate them without them having to be there.
Sure.
Now, one of the things, Mike, that we do want to address is some studios allow their parents to be on the floor to, partake of the class, right? Some schools don't. I don't.
There's also only in the middle that use the parents as coaches, holding pads or whatever.
We have a concept in place like that, but it's not on a daily basis. We do what we call How to Train Your Skills Ninja, and we'll do that once a quarter. And it's going to be parents and kids and everybody on the floor. That's fine. But I don't do that because sometimes the parents, like you said, the parents need that time of like you have no idea the number of parents that will come in, bring their laptop, and do the work while they're sitting there. I can't tell them not to work. That's how they pay us.
Yeah.
Right.
Money, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah. At the same time, I've got parents that will go make that cup of coffee, sit in that chair, and they're just enjoying watching their kids. You know what I mean? It's that moment of peace, right? It just depends on the family, depends on the parents, it depends on everything that's happening. Okay. I don't want personally, the only parents who are allowed on my floor are the mini Skillz. Okay.
Same for us.
I don't want the parents to get on the floor with the kids for so many reasons. First, when the kids go to school in the morning, we're not going with them as parents. Okay, so the kids need to learn how to interact intellectually, emotionally, socially, and physically without their parents being there all the time. Number two, if you know what, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I completely agree with that. You know, especially that social development that a lot of people don't look at.
Yep. Number two, parents are always parents. If they see little Johnny doing something wrong, I can guarantee you they're gonna either reprimand Johnny, scold him, corporal punishment. I have seen it all. I have seen it all in the last 20 years we've been teaching, right? So why would I want to do that? Next thing I know, Johnny's going, I don't want to go back to karate anymore because you embarrassed me in front of my kid, in front of the other kids. So there is so many ways things can be handled. Now, I will tell you this. I do have a family class that we do Saturday morning where everybody can come to class together, but I let it be known that is my class. Okay. If Johnny's going to stand next to you, Mike, do me a favor. If they do anything wrong, just maybe wink at me, point it out, do something that I will be the one that seems like the bad guy, not you. You're the father. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is our domain, not home.
So, you know, that goes right along with the same way we teach our kids in class. We have to prompt them with the behavior that we expect to see before we can expect to see it.
Yeah.
Same thing with our parents. You know, we have to set those expectations. And, you know, John gave the example of in his class, this is the expectation and this is what I need you to be doing. But the same thing, if we want the parents to be active parts of our kids' journeys, that needs to be prompted right from the enrollment conference where we're saying, you know, this is what we want you to do. This is how often we want you to do it, you know, giving suggestions as to what is our expectation of your role in the child's journey. So, you know, one of the things that you can do is say, so Mrs. Johnson, here is the program guide for your child's class. Let's say it's core skills, my favorite class to teach. So here's the core skills parents guide. Make sure you look through it. And here's why it's important, right? We never just want to tell them what to do. We need to tell them why. So here's why that's important. Within this guide, you're going to see a list of the 8 skills that little Johnny is going to be working on. What I need you to do is after class, don't just say, how was class? Because you're going to get an answer like, it was good. And you don't even want to ask questions like, so what'd you learn in class? I don't know, nothing. Man, that kid's going to lose that child. Not because of the child, because parents aren't seeing the value. So you know, we coach parents to say, and we have it goes out in a daily video, a Facebook post, it's on our lobby TV. We make sure that we are speaking about it really loudly in class to kind of prompt those. So we want to coach our parents to say, well, you know, Johnny, hold on, I'm going to change Johnny's name because it's always Johnny. Let's call him Kevin. Little Kevin doesn't have the same ring. You know, tell me what you learned about courage today. So now I've prompted that, you know, we know what we do in class as far as, you know, active learning and working memory and crystalline intelligence and all these things. So now I've kind of re-triggered all those neurons and now it's reinforcing the lesson one more time for the child. But now it's also, oh, courage means this, but it doesn't mean that. And this is how you can show it. And this one time, now you're having a conversation.
Yeah.
And the child is actually reinforcing all those neurological pathways that just got developed in class. So now the parent gets to have positive interaction with the child gets the reinforcement. And when they come back the next time in 4 weeks, when we're doing courage again, it's going to be a little easier to delve deeper into that topic.
Absolutely.
But you got to teach your parents how to do that. They don't necessarily know. We really struggle with communication as human beings.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever we're having our office chat after our pre-evaluation session, I let the parents know that it's best if they watch the class when they're in the building than to just be on their phone. And they're like, oh, well, I thought if I'm constantly watching him, I'll be distracting him. I was like, no, by all means, watch him. I understand if you're gonna have to come and have him do class and you got some work to do, that's fine. By the way, in case you don't know, our parents have their own Wi-Fi access here.
Yeah, ours too.
So I let them I have a conversation with them, letting them know that they can bring their kids here, and if they got work to do, they can do their work. But I also let them know that just like exactly what you mentioned, watch them in class. Pick one thing that they did, and that's going to be your connection time with them in the car on the way home. Okay? Because that one thing, when you tell them how good they did it, they're going to be so proud of themselves. They're going to talk all about it, which in that moment, we're hard coding the information in their brain, because on the intellectual side, I don't want them to just come to class, do thing, and they know what a kick is. No, I want them to understand why we do what we do and when we do it.
So part of what you said there, they're worried about the distraction. That's actually part of the process. Especially like in early Skillz, they need that reinforcement from mom or dad just to make sure everything's still cool. We're okay. The world didn't burn down. All right, let me get back in class. It's okay. Our goal is over the course of time to get them to the point where they don't need that.
Yeah.
So it's okay if, it's really easy to have a perfect student if that student is alone in the room and you asked him to do nothing other than be alone in the room. It's only under pressure and under challenging of their abilities that we get to see where they are. That's why testing is so important. In the old days, it was how hard can I dog my student to see if he really wants it. Now I'm setting things up so that the student has to kind of think their way through it, so that I can actually assess their stage of development. I don't care about the technique. I do. But, I'm really looking to assess how do they do under pressure, and I don't mean pressure me dogging them. I mean pressure as in I'm challenging their stage of development just to see where they are. It's okay.
And, having said that, the number of times that the kids you have in the class, when they turn around, they wave at their parents. They want to see if their parents are watching, right? Or they run, like in my case, they run to the window and they go, parents are like, turn around. I'm like, I make sure that I let the parents know, oh, by the way, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Socially,
and the best, is so we have to put out what we want to get back, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Johnson, I saw how you praised Johnny the other day after class. That was so powerful. I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
What's Mrs. Johnson doing from now on?
I'm going to praise Johnny every single day because she wants her name said out loud by you.
Kids are not just little adults, but adults are just big children.
Yes.
You can use it. If you've ever been to a parent skills workshop or an instructor seminar, a skills instructor's certification, you technically have the mental powers. Like, this is ninja mind magic, right? It's not like look into my eyes and I'm going to steal your treasure. You have the skills to be influential as an instructor, as a partner in that parent's endeavors. There's no reason you can't extend that to your own kids at home, to your spouses. And in fact, what's the lady's name? Was it Siobhan?
Siobhan, yes.
That said she used it on her mother-in-law or something. Like these skills go far beyond just, man, I wish the parents would pay attention to my school. Start using this everywhere, because the more you use it, the better you'll get, the more effect you'll have when it comes time to say, Mrs. Johnson, ninja mind magic, and get Mrs. Johnson to do what is best for her child.
Hey, how about this? The child is walking up to the window, waving by, or the child wants to go give mommy a hug. 90% of the parents are like, hey, turn around, go back to class, don't do this, don't do that. I don't know why that's so wrong. You know what I mean? In my world, I'm like, hey, Mike, do me a favor. When your Kevin comes back out, or they wave at you, all I want you to do is wave back and say, good job, good job, good job. So instead of replying back with that negative behavior, reply back with a positive behavior.
Yep.
That is going to do a whole lot of difference in their life. If they come out and, they're coming to you with their head down, oh, you came to give me a hug? Here, give me a hug. you know what? You were doing so good in class. Go back to class.
That, look, changing the language that we use with children is important. There's a post that's floating around. It's been going around Facebook for a couple of years about how, next time your child comes out of their dance class or their skate class or whatever it is, instead of immediately critiquing, even if it's positive, saying, "Oh, I liked how you did this," just simply say, "I'm so proud of the effort that you put in," or "I really enjoy watching you train."
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with what they're doing. It's that I'm here and I just love watching you. Now, that's a very positive emotion. And we know that especially with kids, emotion is tied to decision making. So if they have and it's not always rational or logical, so if they tie positive relationships to their parents, all that oxytocin and the serotonin, and now they're tying that to the fact that it's while they're in martial arts class, the child is going to have a better class. They may stay longer, but that's the result. We don't want to just find ways to make the kids stay longer. We want them to get better results out of us.
So you said the child will have a better class. How about if we add a little bit to that and say the child will have a more confident future?
That's actually, I am so glad you said that. So here's the dissociation psychologically that a certain segment of parents have. They and I don't want, if this shoe fits you, please, I don't mean this in a negative way. It's just that we don't understand what's happening. So we have this altruistic hope for our child, that our child will learn how to be independent, how to step up and do things, how to be resilient, how to be confident. And a certain segment of the parenting population does that by saying, go be confident and independent and all these things. And what actually happens is psychologically, and the younger the child is, the more true this is, the more you comfort them, the more you hug them, the more you, coddle is not the right word, but the more that you are there to support them and to help them, while it may seem, and this is where the dissociation is, you're making your child soft. What you're actually doing is telling the child that no matter what, I will be here for you. And if I know that somebody's got my back, I am more likely to step out and try things. And psychologically, especially with kids, when we push them, go get back into class, we're actually creating a separation anxiety so that the child pushes back against that. They don't feel confident. They don't feel that somebody's there for them, and they do worse. So while it's an altruistic thing, it's gone about the wrong direction.
Yep.
And please, if that's your parenting style, I'm not saying you are wrong, because you're probably coming from a very good place, right?
Yep.
But we know how the brain works, and we can see it over time with the kids that get the hugs and get the little bit of support, how they do over time.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I have changed my parenting style since I joined Skillz.
Oh, me too.
What I used to be, what I am, I've flat out had some of my older martial arts students were like, "Ooh, you became a softie." I was like, "Nope, I didn't. I still get what I want done.
Yep.
I still get the results that I'm looking for. But instead of me being an authority figure, a boogeyman, you know what I mean? I am now a person that they can trust, that I can talk to them, I can influence them, I can help them more psychologically to feel comfortable than for me to scare them."
It goes right along with the challenge that some instructors have, going from being a technique-based to a skill-based instructor. Yep. And I don't mean Skillz as the brand, but just the method of teaching. It's a parallel that when you want to teach the technique so the technique is perfect, I want my kid to get out there now and be independent and confident. But we're really teaching for an instant in time there. I want what I want from you right now. Versus when you teach skill-based, where you have that comforting, theory why parent or instructor, it may not happen right now. But over time, it's going to just become the way that things are. We're creating a self-identity for people, not just a, in this example, a fear-based response. I know which one I want for my kids. Let's see. I just been taking notes as we've been chatting here. One note that I wrote down before that I forgot to mention. If you're going to highlight your kids in video and stuff, there are apps out there. Now, I used to use Class Dojo, which was actually designed for school teachers before we actually got a real CRM platform. We used to use it for attendance and stuff like that. But Class Dojo has a couple cool things, and you can either use that or you can mimic it through other stuff. It's got, first of all, a randomizer. So it's designed for teachers. So if I want to make sure I call in every child in class or praise every child in class or, make sure I'm hitting every child, you can just touch a button and it'll pop somebody's name up. And this way you make sure that we don't have that subconscious bias that we like certain kids and that we don't just call on the same kids over and over because they always have the answer. It gives us a chance to interact with every child. And it also lets the parents see feedback. So every time little Johnny does something good, you get to hit a button and they get a little pop-up on their phone that says, oh, little Johnny got a good mark in school, which I'm not a huge fan of behavior charts. So I didn't use it as like a demerit system, but it was a pretty cool thing. So I'd make sure you are hitting all of your kids eventually over the course of a month or so.
And we don't mean hitting as in hitting.
Come here, you're a good kid. Or my stepfather used to say, this hurts me far more than it hurts you.
No, it doesn't.
Can we trade? And one other note is, we've brought it up a few times that the parents are very often in their phones. So if we want to be in front of the parents, we need to also be where the parents are. So John and I are probably both the oldest two people on TikTok right now. That's not true. I saw some lady in like her 70s the other day has a TikTok thing. But you got to be there. And if it's not for you, delegate it. It's a good opportunity for you to teach like a 14-year-old in your school about online responsibility. Bless you. About online responsibility, a little bit of entrepreneurship and marketing. Bless you.
Bless you.
The entire Skillz world says bless you. All right. And we got the foghorn from the other end. Cool. Oh, man. I need a studio. But make sure that, here's a good conversation to have with the parents. As you're going around and you're chatting to parents about, what's going on in their lives and the new puppies, and you saw little Kevin got an award at school. Hey, by the way, are you guys on Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram? What do you guys use a lot? Because guess where I'm going to start putting all the content of their kids?
On the platforms that the kids are on.
Yep. And TikTok, here's what I love about it. I can talk to the parent on TikTok and I can talk to the kid on TikTok with similar voice, but a different. And Gary Vee is actually really good at this on TikTok, where he's talking to the parents and saying, this is how you get ahead in life. This is business and whatever. And then he's also talking to the kids saying, stop listening to your parents. And then he's talking to both of them together where he says, all right, stop listening to your parents. And parents, you got to let them try to succeed. But kids, if they're still paying for your rent, ignore what I just said. So he has a unique ability to speak with three voices, whether it's to this audience, that audience, or them together. And that's something that we as martial artists don't always get. We don't get that opportunity to speak differently to the different segments of a family.
Yep.
The end of TikTok. And it's funny because we were told that now that we're on TikTok, Robert has to now get off of it because now the old people are here.
I would never. I just disliked it as a platform.
Yeah. So it's true though. You know, the kids lead the way. So ask the kids too, and don't be afraid to get on there because it's for kids. You know, and that's for any app. You know, and you'll see what the trend is by what the kids are doing, and then it's your job to be the early innovator, early adopter, and get on there. So that's why you're going to see our old selves bippity boppity booing.
So what can we do to get some of these school owners to start dripping little messages to their parents, to get their parents more involved and more cultivated in what they're doing?
So that's a good question because all this so far has been theory, right? I mean, you got a couple little tidbits that you can use directly. So I look at it the exact same way that I look at some of my more challenging students. How do I get my students to do stuff? And you have to know how they're motivated. You know, we know that at every stage of development, people are motivated a little differently. You know, early Skillz 3 and 4-year-olds, they need, one thing, and teens need something very different. Parents have a stage of development as well. It's a natural part of the life cycle. Hey, Gavin, what's going on, man? Parents have a natural kind of development as well. So you kind of have to figure out, what do they need? Now, extrinsic motivation is one of the lower forms of motivation, but it still works.
It's still powerful.
Man, the parent, so look, you could go into your Facebook group, you click on Insights, and it's going to pop up a page, and there's 3 boxes at the top, and I don't remember what they're actually labeled, but you go to the rightmost box and you click it, and it's going to pop up the 20 most active people in your Facebook group. You screenshot that bad boy. At the end of a month, you post it back into the Facebook group, tag everybody that's in the picture, and then say, congratulations, Mrs. Smith, you are the most active person in our family group. You've been signed up for the Wine of the Month Club for the next year. That's a parent's stage of development for extrinsic motivation.
Yep.
You know, Mrs. Smith is now going, oh, I've got just the perfect glass of wine for this, you know, and she is ecstatic, and she's probably a little happier later that evening. But now all the other moms are like, oh, I love wine. Click, 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 and they're all typing in your group trying to win for next month. So, things like this. And we even did it one month where I did a leaderboard like once every few days. I say, oh, look, Mrs. Smith, you're like right here. Mrs. Johnson's got you by 2 comments. Make sure that you're staying active in the group because this month we're giving away, whatever it is. And it takes a little effort on your part. And yeah, it's a little hokey and cheesy, but it works.
Yeah.
It works.
It does.
It gets attention. And once you get attention, you can go to more powerful things.
You said it at the beginning of this episode, or around the middle. Parents are just like kids. They want to be called out. They want to be recognized. They want to feel the same love that we are given the children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here's the secret. They also want permission to be kids once in a while.
Yes. Yeah.
Secret sauce.
Another thing that you guys can do, the Skillz program provides that for us, is our posts that we do on regular basis in terms of what we're teaching in the class, along with the mat chat of the day or the mat chat for, whether it's class A or class B. I know that Skillz has the same concept in place, so you can definitely let your parents know on, what you're doing in class, what you're teaching for the week, what the mat chat is about, okay? But another super awesome program that I know the Skillz has is the Life Skillz. If you want to get your parents more involved in their kids' life, the Life Skillz is absolutely amazing because for that entire month, you're discussing a major life skill, tag, or just a major life skill like respect.
And guys, right? Life Skillz is free.
Yeah.
It's like our give back to the community. Go sign up for a free Life Skillz membership.
Yep.
And that ties right along. So here's how you can tie those two concepts together. So life skills is very important because it is providing value that they can reinforce at home. But there's also a certain amount of I don't want to say homework, but homework that has to go along with that. So gamify it. Hey, first person that can tell me what this month's life skill is gets a $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. Dunkin' Donuts is right across the street from our school, so it's relevant. And then everybody that answers, all right, we're buying everybody coffee today. You guys all knew it. You were awesome. So it's kind of using an extrinsic motivation to get them to that higher level of thought. And then once they're steeped in that, it just becomes the way that things are. They'll start to see the value. Sometimes it's like having a lead loss. Free class. I'm taking a hit on the free class because I know once you come into my school, I'm going to get you. I'm going to sell you on what we do. I'm not a huge fan of free stuff, but it does have its place. But you can't just use the free class as the free class and hope they sign up. You got to get them in so that you can show them. It's like all those people in some of the groups that are like, I'm a martial arts school. I'm never doing birthday parties. That's not martial arts. Okay, so you and your 5 students, can go sit in a corner and call me a McDojo. Whatever. If I get an opportunity to bring 30 kids into my school that might not have otherwise ever been interested in martial arts, and I can lead 5 of them down a path to that, what have I really done? I brought more people into the martial arts.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it anyway. People can disagree if they like. That's okay. I'm resilient enough because I know my mommy loves me.
Okay.
The other thing that might be good is like an ambassador program, brand ambassador program. We started one at one point, but we realized just our antelopes are awesome enough by themselves that when we need something, we can go to them. So we didn't want to spend the extra energy on it. But, just having a set of things in place so that those antelope parents get leveraged in your school. So we talk about mirror neurons and modeling and all this stuff for kids. Same for adults. We don't have as many mirror neurons going on, but we still do model the people around us. That's yes. Like, John, I know you speak a couple languages. I speak a couple languages. So as I go into a place and I'm there for more than a week, I start talking funny, kind of like how the people around me are speaking.
Yeah.
I model that behavior. It's just something that happens. So when you start leveraging your antelopes, and you can thank them quietly, like we take an antelope couple out to dinner every now and then, or just chat with them on Facebook even. The other parents will see the interaction that you're having with these groups, and they'll want that interaction too. So whether you want to create a brand ambassador program or just be able to have some people in your school, you say, hey Bob, can you share this post for me? That's it. That's simple. When leaders lead, followers follow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't always have to have a big, huge idea. Sometimes it's that simple. Let's see, what else do I have in my notes here? Contests, asking questions. All right. I covered all the things I came up with from listening to you. So I think the real part of it is, just to kind of recap, I know we're coming up on time here. A lot of schools do have challenges with parents being involved with their kids' development. We know that we are more likely to keep those students around if the parents are more engaged and more involved. The students will do better. And we discussed kind of the importance of, first of all, giving them the tools to be engaged, whether it's a parent skills thing or it's just having a group where we can all chat offline, making sure we are where they are, being on the platforms that they're consuming, and making sure that they have the knowledge to interact with their students, as well as motivating them, whether it's by praising the way that they praise their child, having a contest, feeding them wine, whatever. And the bottom line was, it's a relationship. It's a two-way street. So if you really want them interacting, you need to interact with them. It's together.
Yeah.
You know me in words. All right.
So,
So
Miss
now,
Harvey
Jen
has
has
a
a blog
question.
post about this coming out this week, right? Or is
Yep.
that this week?
I believe it's this week.
Cool. So part of what you guys have now is 3 days to kind of digest this information. And then on Thursday, you're going to get, if you're a Skillz Gold member, you'll get Jennifer's blog. Does she mind when people call her Jen, by the way? I just made that assumption. Okay.
No, she's good.
All right. I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, so now you'll have a couple days to think about that and plan kind of what you're going to be putting into place. So when this blog hits and you post it on your site, it'll be reinforcement for everything you're about to drop. You know, that's how I would use it initially.
Miss Harvey's got a question. Do pre-Skillz members have access to parent Skillz?
I don't believe so, because
No.
pre-Skillz is a Century product, even though
Yes.
it's designed by Melody, whereas Parent Skillz is a Skillz product.
Yeah.
That said, I would not be surprised if a certain amount of that content made it into Melody's posts. So I'll whichever one of us speaks to her first, we can mention to her that might be valuable over there, and she can make a decision from there. Because I know that more of that sort of stuff is on the way. Not necessarily Parent Skillz, but usually when she releases new programs, the older programs kind of get filtered out to the other levels of membership. So if it's not going to be soon, I would expect maybe by MegaCon, when we drop, we're dropping like half a dozen different programs at MegaCon. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it after that. And if you really need help, like if there's something you're really struggling with, like hit us up. Even though we don't work for Maya and the pre-Skillz platform, we are still here for you guys.
Yeah, you can outright. Yeah,
you can outright pay for it if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head what it costs, but we can find out for you. It's not a significant cost for what it brings.
Yeah, it's a one-time payment, but it's yours.
Yeah. So we'll circle back afterwards. All right. So hopefully you guys have some ideas about how to get involved, get your parents involved, and how to be involved in your kids' lives outside the school. Because if you want them involved inside, you got to be involved outside, and put them to work. What's the worst that happens? Something falls on its face. You move on. You go try the next thing.
Absolutely.
All right. So one more time, guys, make sure you're getting in on MegaCon. We are now into February, March, April, May. We're about 3.5 months away. So you're going to start seeing a lot more emphasis on what's going on at MegaCon. You do not want to miss this. There are still a few VIP tickets left if you want in on the higher level mindset stuff. We'll also be putting stuff to work there. It's not just going to be all feel good and rainbows. Yeah, it will. It'll be feel good and rainbows and good stuff.
Yes.
And the MegaCon 2-day event for both owner level or manager level, I guess we could say, and the beachside training with Master Clayton and our special guest. I still don't think we're allowed to say who it is, are we?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
We're not going there.
Man, it's somebody really cool that your kids, your storm team member, heck, even your adult instructors are going to think it's
jealous.
Really cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
So you don't want to miss that. I'm going to find out if we can drop that yet, because maybe we'll even see if we could get that person on for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That'll see how much influence we have if we can get that person on.
Right.
All right, guys. So we are right at time. Get your tickets. If you have challenges with our topic today, please let us know. It's what we do. It's what we thrive on, is helping you guys. So hit us up and we can speak specifically to your situation. Other than that, gotta go crush it.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Best day of
First
the
week
week.
of February.
What? Man, we got Valentine's Day this month. We've got a leap year this month.
Yep.
2 reasons in the shortest month of the year to find a way to do something to be successful. 2.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Rest
Peace
it up.
out, everybody.
Catch you later.